how to measure string height. So I have that pickup just about at the height that I want it, but I'm going to adjust the camera here so you guys can see how I measure that with my mechanics ruler. So like all other guitar adjustments, this is a little tricky because a huge part of it boils down to personal preference and what you're going for. So if you've got some pretty hot pickups and you're playing metal and you have a pretty soft picking style, you're going to want your string height and your pickup height to be really, really close to the strings, so you're going to get more high gain out of it. But how you measure it is you take a mechanics roller just like this, and you want one that measures 30 seconds of an inch. And you're going to measure from the top of the bobbin of the pickup. And what you want to do is you want to fret the last fret of the pickup and use that to measure. Now, because of the camera angle, it looks like that's flush, but it really isn't. That is right about 2 seconds, which is actually a tad too high. So I am going to lower this a little bit. And now that is just about exactly where I want it. And really, you want to repeat this process on the other side as well. That is dead perfect on about 2 seconds. So the rule of thumb is you want to have on the bass side of the guitar 3 seconds of an inch, and on the treble side of the guitar you want 2 seconds of an inch, or 3 seconds and a half. Now this gets pretty tricky, and it really boils down to personal preference and how the guitar feels, how the guitar sounds when you play it, and when you play it through your amp. So if you have this set at 3 seconds and you want it to be just a little bit hotter because it's not getting enough distortion, then just raise the pickup height just a small bit. Just take the screwdriver and go, maybe a half turn, and that's all you need to do. Now, I would also recommend that you do that with your guitar plugged in and while you're playing your amp, and that way you'll know exactly what it's going to sound like, and you don't really have to have these precise measurements. Like, it doesn't need to be dead on 3 seconds of an inch or dead on 2 seconds of an inch on the treble side here. It needs to be what sounds good to you and what feels good to you when you play it. And the 3 seconds of an inch is really just kind of this standard guitar that's set up, like a standard guitar that you pick up in a guitar store anywhere. Most of the time it's going to be set right around there. So we use that as a guideline and as a rule of thumb to get the basics down, but it doesn't have to be there so long as it's not so close to the strings that it's pulling the strings down and it's causing them to touch the frets, because pickups are magnets and they can do that if you have them too high, and it could cause the string to fret out. But as long as they're not too high, or you have them so low that it's giving you half the output out of your amp, unless that's really what you want, which probably isn't the case. But unless it's inhibiting your playing, there's no real wrong way to do this. So I wanted you guys to really kind of be comfortable with that and understand that there's not really a way to mess this up, because it boils to personal preference, and you really can kind of do whatever you want when it comes to the pickup height.